So why is Tokyo Ghoul my favorite manga series? It's one of those questions I wish I was asked a lot more than I am. And since I'm not asked a lot, I decided to just tell you guys anyways, even if you don't want to hear it. So here we go. To answer that question, I'll have to go all the way back to where I first was introduced into the series Tokyo Ghoul. My first experience with Tokyo Ghoul was the first season of the anime, which, watching it, it was a show that I watched and I always had a feeling like I feel like something's missing. I'm not sure what it is, but it's something, and I feel like this show has a lot of potential, and I just wish I knew like where this was going, what's going on. And I'll never forget, I'm sitting and I had a random feeling, maybe I should see if this is based off of manga or not, which back then I wasn't too inclined to read light novels, so if it came from a manga I'd be more inclined to do so, which turns out it was. I did some research to see where the season 1 of Tokyo Ghoul left off, and I saw a lot, and I mean a lot of comments saying don't even like bother trying to start where Tokyo Ghoul left off and try to read Tokyo Ghoul. Go back and reread it, which I see that a lot in a lot of anime. I see, yo, you should go back and just read the whole manga. I'm telling you, it's worth it. So at first I was gonna ignore it, but a YouTuber I watched, Chibi Reviews, just so happened to also read the manga and just so happened to also seem extremely passionate about it. So I decided to take it upon myself to see what I was missing. It was one of those things where I assumed, yeah, the anime may have cut a little bit out, nothing too serious though, and I was proven wrong. I can't even explain how wrong I was proven. Watching Tokyo Ghoul, the anime, it felt like I was watching a edgy action dark show. Turns out that was the completely wrong idea of what Tokyo Ghoul was supposed to be, what it was meant to be, what Sui Ishida wanted it to be. And I am so lucky to have found the few comments that I found that convinced me to go back and read the manga, because I don't know where I'd be right now if I hadn't read that. Not to say anything crazy like, oh, it changed my life, but you know, it did change the way I thought about things I'm passionate about. It changed the way I thought about relationships a little bit. It did have an impact on me, and that's a lot more than I can say about a lot of anime today. Again, we go back to my first experience with the manga, and like I said, it was so much that I found out was missing. And not only was it things missing, it was things that are extremely deep and things that I found extremely relatable for me. The feeling of depression, the feeling of contemplating why you exist, the feeling of not knowing a purpose. It was these feelings that I felt through Sui Ishida's writing and his art, and I knew that it was something that would resonate with me a lot. It wasn't one of those manga series that, you know, you can tell, oh, they're just trying to get at my sensitive side, or oh, they're just trying to get at my deep side. It didn't feel like one of those things where they're just trying to hit you where they know that you will like it. It was one of those things where I could tell that the mangaka of this series truly felt and truly contemplated on these ideals, and actually wanted his characters to live in the moment, live in these different forms of anguish, live in the society where if you're a ghoul, you have to live a life where everyone looks at you as a villain, as a terrible monster, when in all reality you're just as human as they are. You just have to, the way you live is just a little different, and it just so happens to not be able to easily coexist with regular humans. Seeing Ken Kaneki deal with this struggle, deal with having to live in both worlds, and everyone on the ghoul side looking at him as this almost like a savior sometimes, and having all of his human friends being shut out of his life and being looked at as different people sometimes. Seeing the humans being looked at as, and a lot of times more monsters than the ghouls themselves. All of that was something that I had never truly seen. And it's not like I picked up on everything myself. I definitely had a lot of help with the many different content creators that I would go and watch, go and look at the Reddit to see other people's opinions. And that's the thing. It was the first time that I had ever read anything that made me feel like I had to go and get further opinions, had to go and just go deeper into this project, go deeper into this world. And I'm so glad to have experienced that. I won't go too much into the plot and every character, but it's one of the only shows that made me feel a connection to multiple characters, not just one. It wasn't a series to where I thought, okay, as long as they don't kill this guy, I'm happy. It was something to where I truly wanted to see the happiness of almost every character, but I knew that definitely wasn't gonna happen. It's a tragedy. It's what Tokyo Ghoul truly is. It was meant to be a tragedy series, a seinen, a psychological horror, and I got a lot of that. And it was the first manga I read in those categories. It was something that expanded my horizon, and it's also something I recommend to a lot of my friends, and I recommend to you if you haven't read it. But I don't want to go too deep into the series. Let me know what you guys think about Tokyo Ghoul, and if you haven't read it yet, I strongly encourage you to go and do so. Thanks, guys.